he is a witness or he is being probed himself. But obviously very, very glaring issues there coming out. But also on the front page, there is a picture there, chaos, shame of the national airport. This, of course, was a very, very bad day for Kenya in many ways. One would be just our public view, the international view of Kenya at that point in time. I mean, the airport is the first point of contact for any tourist coming into the country, and then they find this chaos. Secondly, it's also the amount of money that we lost as a country. And thirdly, it leaves us again with questions regarding how things are being handled, with KAA literally downing their tools.
Well, this is the most sad part of what happened yesterday. The most sad. That would have never happened. I don't know why we did not see it coming, and why we could not just sit down with those workers, and why we have refused to just talk about this thing of Kenya Airways and KA. I mean, until we've reached here, really, it's unfair to the country. Very unfair, Getonga, because we started it in Parliament. We saw up and downs, and the Parliament and the Public Investment Committee questioning. But after that, I wish those who are responsible would have just sat down and say, look, we want to shelve it a bit. First we hear the pros and cons of both sides, and then we'll come and tell you. And can we be told, why do we want Kenya Airways to run the airport?
Correct.
Yes, just tell the country. Reasons are one, they will brand us more. Two, they will ensure we have more investment coming in. Three, because those are the things we want to hear. Why you want to run this airport.
Why they should run it,
after all the years we've had in the country. Why now do you want to run the airport? Five, maybe, are we losing money from KA? That's why KQ wants to take over and ensure now we don't lose money. Those are the things Kenyans want to hear.
Absolutely.
So, but if you're coming in and you want to try and now give a different, you want to make money, yet you have been losing money. Exactly. You know, when I look at the report, Mutahi Kagwe, Kalonzo Mutula Jr., Senator, Anyang' Nyong'o, now governor, did for Kenya Airways. You know, one of the things that has finished our country is this thing that because you are in opposition, and when you lead a report, nobody will look at that report. It's very sad.
It's unfortunate,
because
regardless
today,
of how accurate that report
that report was the best report. Recommendations of how to just rebrand KQ, look at it properly, deal with the graft that was there at that time. We left it, and now we are here. Then you come and tell us, KQ now has 3 airlines, I don't know. I mean, then another person just wakes up, we don't know whether it's rumors, but Kenyans are not taking it as rumors, because Kenyans have seen day and night, it's graft in Kenya.
Absolutely.
So when they say, even when you're trying to imagine, there's no way you can have an airport of any country. What you agree is that you're given a parking, and you agree maybe to lease in 10 years or something. And then the country is always in control of that. So then when you hear those coming from leaders, you're asking yourself, where are we as a country? What are we talking about?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we hope that this will be resolved once and for all, because it is extremely embarrassing.
This was the worst for our country.
It was really a bad and a very sad
After having a direct flight to New York, this was not supposed to happen at the airport at all. Even just seeing, because, okay, we had no choice. I think the government had to just now bring in some enforcement. The enforcement, even though, because they had no choice. But you imagine when somebody's abroad looking at the enforcement, wondering,
is this
it
what
a
I'm going
coup?
to land?
Because they don't understand. Nobody's trying to explain to them, no. It's just that we have a strike, and this is what is happening. Nobody. So somebody abroad will just cancel.
And of course, as much as they say they've given a figure of how much we've lost, it's a very conservative figure, given that there's also an expected ripple effect of losses that we're going to make for maybe even conferences that are going to be held in Nairobi, but because of what they term as safety, they'll move them to other countries. But there you go. We hope that this has been resolved
and
once
it should never happen again, ever. And it's good also for the government to come out and give sort of a reassurance that all is well and
we're back to
normal.
It will not happen
and
again.
it will not happen again.
All right, page 2, we have matters devolution. We had the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga yesterday addressing the governors who are in Kirinyaga County, and Raila warns no leader is above the law. And again, we go back to matters graft, and it is sometimes very confusing for Kenyans, and maybe Honorable Elachi, you can let us know, especially because you mix and mingle with politicians. When, as a politician yourself, when the war on graft is taken to podiums and stages, and it then loses its weight and gravitas based on the fact that now it seems like individuals who are fighting each other with a war of words. And I'm not saying that that's what the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, was doing, but we've definitely had vibes thrown at each other from the politicians in regards to the war on graft. I mean, if graft is theft, it is theft.
Absolutely. And yes, as you say, the more we politicize it, the more it becomes very difficult even to manage it. We have now dragged in the DCI, we've dragged in the DPP, we are dragging in now the institutions. And I can see even the political leaders about to kill those institutions. But now I'll say this, Gitonga. I think the political leaders forget that this constitution is a constitution that is very, very progressive. It gives a lot of powers to the people. And when I listened to the poll of the handshake, why many Kenyans are feeling that that handshake is not working, it's because of just two things. They are wondering, former Prime Minister, you know, you helped us to fight this thing, to fight. Now, you know, you're on the side of government.
You're quiet.
Who are we going to go to, you know? And that is why they're feeling a bit frustrated. But I would say, and I want to tell my Jubilee party, that if we do not have this handshake today, we will be in Venezuela. It will be a replica of what is happening in Venezuela. Absolute replica. We will be wondering what just hit Kenya.
What hit Kenya?
And therefore, while we are thinking, yes, we are going to 2022 and all that, I just want to tell them that, look, if we do not if we will not deal with these matters now, we will be in that boat of 2002, where everyone will be looking for a different agenda than looking at Jubilee. We'll have gone.
We'll have gone.
So, as much as we have all these internal conflicts and fighting just about to become what we want, let me just announce this here today. Let us sort our house. Kenyans are disappointed with this house. And the more we continue, we have left only the president now fighting the agenda and trying to bring back that hope. You want to be, anyone in Jubilee wants to, and I'm not just saying because my deputy president, there are many who will come, but I just want to tell them, realign yourself with the president, sort out the mess in Jubilee, sort out these headlines that are there every day, and if the headlines are lying, come out with the truth so that we get the truth.
So that we have the truth.
On the papers. Yes.
And we'll come to the handshake in just a bit, but your thoughts on devolution and the fact that the devolution conference is going on now, and there has been a feeling amongst many Kenyans that it's good that those conferences come together, people come together, but the question is, what is the takeout of these conferences? Do we really benefit from them as counties? What is it that governors actually learn from each other?
Well, not that now you have brought it. What is it that governors learn from each other? They can still go into the other county and learn. But I'll say this, and the best thing that ever happened is that we have now Kirinyaga hosting. This is the first time Governor Waiguru.
Waiguru.
And it's a very small county at the same time. It doesn't receive a lot of resources the way other counties receive these resources. So the question will be, thank you for taking us to Kirinyaga, because we have seen in 1 year what Anne has done and what her plan is. She is very clear where she wants Kirinyaga to go. Now, other governors who other counties are crying should start asking themselves, if Anne in 1 year
has been able to achieve
it means devolution can work. It depends on the leader you've put in place. It means we can transform this country through devolution. It's a pillar that we will never lose, regardless of what.
We also have examples like Makueni.
Makueni has done tremendous. And when you look at the resources and the 3 years that Kibwana went through, and then he comes and works for 2 years, it means it can happen.
It can work.
So these other governors where people are telling us nothing has happened, they should just be thrown out. I mean, time and they should do a scorecard. The 7th devolution, even if they will have a conference wherever they have, before they go for the conference, can they have a scorecard in their counties, telling their counties, we have been privileged to receive taxpayers' money, 10 billion, 20 billion, 50 billion, since devolution started. We have been able to do 1, 2, 3. But if it is what the president said, and I know, you find that 60 to 70 to 80, 90% goes to current expenditure, which is very sad.
Which is very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
All right, and we also take a look at the Daily Nation before we wind up, and the headline is on the JKIA incident that was there yesterday. Very, very embarrassing, and also bringing losses to Kenya, and hopefully that's the last time it happens. Chaos and losses as JKIA strike grounds Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. And they say pictures speak 1,000 words. When you look at page 2 and 3, definitely if one is a foreigner and was coming into the country, they would think twice before coming in, because it looks like there was so much chaos. It may look exaggerated, but all the same, the embarrassment is the same. So that's what we have on the Nation and other stories that are in the Daily Nation. And finally, let's look at page 10 of the Daily Nation. Auditor wants IFMIS reviewed to improve efficiency in counties. And the Auditor General has come out many times to flag and say there is misuse of funds or lack of accountability of funds, even at the county level. And one of the things now he has brought out is IFMIS, and he admits that there are people, even maybe within his office, that are colluding with officers to ensure that is hidden. But as Kenya, we really need to have this conversation candidly regarding corruption, because it seems it's everywhere. I don't know how candid we need to be.
Imagine if we can put together what is at the national government and bring in the counties. Do you know we have lost not less than $1 trillion plus, not less than. That has just gone
to
literally
can self-fund if only we close the loopholes that we have in corruption.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with the Auditor General on IFMIS. Now, let me tell you how IFMIS is misused. IFMIS is misused when you go to, first of all, the Auditor General and Control of Budget have tried their best. The Control of Budget has tried her best to even, and I remember even at Nairobi County, she would tell us, go and itemize. But then, what do the officers do? You've itemized, you've taken it to the Control of Budget, but the Control of Budget has no control of your IFMIS. So you have the people, officers who sit now and decide, and they're the ones who have the code. They will decide, now we want to pay. We will pay our cronies. This is what we are paying. This is not. This didn't go to the control of budget, but they pay. And the next one they pay, and they pay. So they pick what they know is what they want, and they will leave the critical items. That is why they are today counties owe people debt, because also they will say so and so has not done 10%, so we are not paying.
But wasn't the system of IFMIS meant to be foolproof to a point where those with the codes can only authorize what has already been passed?
Good, that's what we thought, but no, they just close it. So we must rethink IFMIS and say, if you have agreed these are the itemized items that you have taken to the control of budget, you have to ensure also the same itemized budget is handed over to central bank, that you are releasing money worth 21 billion, these are the items. And central bank now will know this is what is going to be paid. And you can see it on the internet banking clearly. These are the items. The day we do that, the day we start managing graft, we start managing having debts in counties, we start managing to know, indeed, we've been losing a lot of money. Because also, I can decide, and another trick they use is they come and say, we have a commercial account. The day the government, and I am praying, the day is now, that we must ensure no government entity that receives public resources must run a commercial account. Whether you're paying salaries, paid through central bank. Well, this thing of saying you're removing money now here and taking it to, let the money that is removed from central bank going to the other account be money now for the individuals. Now you can track.
You can track
it very well. But what they do, a lump sum, and you're told this is for maybe current expenditures that we know, small per diems and all that. So you put them, you lump them in another account. Then from there now you start using the money. So we want to deal with graft. This is public resources. Let us start having accounts that anyone, any Kenyan can walk and just say, I want to see the statement of my county. Yes, it has to be given.
And you can follow through.
And you can follow through.
And unfortunately, the Auditor General has done his part. He has given us the information.
And the control of budget has done her part.
Yes, and now the question is, what is going to happen after that? Because again, it just might end up being another story on a newspaper, and that ends there. So we hope that the Auditor General
but I believe the president is very clear. The president is clear, Gitonga, on this matter of graft. I don't think his mind is anywhere else. He's carrying it. He knows it's a burden, but he's carrying it so that by 2020 he's telling Kenyans, this is where we are. And therefore, all these issues of systems, of what, we must agree, and we must tell the president the truth. Because even as we blame him on all this, it's the biggest challenge Kenya faces is the officers who we trust and believe can work for us.
Okay.
When you find an officer who in 3 years is able to tell you, I'm a billionaire, then you must question yourself. How come other people have to work for 20, 30? They don't become billionaires, but they manage their children to go to school. You, in 3 years, you can, even we can count properties and tell you, how? Give us this trick.
How did you manage to get that? All right, and I want us to take a short break now, but when we come back, we're going to be looking at the handshake. On Saturday, it's going to be 9th of March, and that's a day that remains historical in this country when Raila Amolo Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta have what is now known as the handshake. But the question is, a year later, what do we have to show in that regard? What do we have to show when it comes to the handshake? So we're going to take a short break, but do stay with us right here on Morning Express. We will be right back, and that's going to be the discussion. We welcome you to participate in this discussion, and you can do that via the question that we have asked, whether you're satisfied and happy